Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most insidious and heartbreaking tactics a manipulative person, specifically a narcissist, uses to keep you hooked. I'm talking about something called future faking. Think about the most beautiful, elaborate vision of the future someone ever painted for you. The dream house, the exotic retirement, the perfect family unit. It felt so real, didn't it? It was a masterpiece of storytelling designed specifically to capture your heart and secure your commitment right then and there. Future faking, simply put, is the act of promising a spectacular shared future, a future that the person doing the promising has absolutely zero intention of delivering. They are essentially selling you a beautifully wrapped, empty box of dreams. This tactic isn't just about disappointing you, it's a sophisticated tool of emotional engineering designed for one primary purpose: absolute control over your current actions. We often see this show up heavily during the initial love bombing phase. Remember when everything felt utterly magical? They weren't just complimenting your outfit or your cooking. They were already meticulously planning the layout of the kitchen in the house you would buy together next spring. They weren't just talking about a spontaneous weekend trip. They were discussing your shared global itinerary for the next decade, naming specific locations and dates. Why do narcissists deploy this strategy so quickly and effectively? Because it provides them with immediate narcissistic supply and massive emotional leverage. If they can convince you that they are the absolute key to your lifelong happiness and future security, you become instantly invested and far less likely to question their current bad, inconsistent, or abusive behavior. It's an investment strategy, but unfortunately, you're the one making all the emotional and time payments. It targets exactly what we all crave as human beings: certainty, security, and partnership. They know that if they can offer you a perfect, shiny, predetermined ending, you will endure any rough patch, any slight, or any outright betrayal in the middle, because you are constantly looking forward to that ultimate payoff that is always guaranteed to be just around the corner, theoretically. Let's break down exactly how this mechanism works in practice. The promises are always grand, incredibly vague, and crucially, always tied to an indefinite time frame that you can never pin down. We will move to the beautiful coast, eventually, when the market is right. We will absolutely get married, when the timing in our careers is perfect. The ambiguity is key because it makes it completely impossible for you to hold them financially or emotionally accountable for the delay. The narcissist uses these future visions specifically to extract compliance and prevent you from leaving. Let's say you are seriously thinking about walking away because their behavior was unacceptable last week. They immediately pivot. But darling, remember our plan for that charming cottage with the white fence? We have to stay together for that dream to happen. Suddenly, your logical decision to protect yourself is reframed as destroying their shared, perfect future. This pattern creates an incredibly powerful trauma bond, a term many of you know well. The good future they promise becomes the irresistible carrot dangling perpetually just out of reach, ensuring you remain firmly committed to the cycle of abuse and hope. You desperately believe that if you just love them harder or tolerate their inconsistencies longer, the promised payoff will magically materialize. And here is where the manipulation becomes truly insidious and cruel. They will occasionally make very small, seemingly concrete gestures to reinforce the illusion they have built. They might spontaneously show you a listing for an expensive house they can't afford, or buy a specific travel brochure and leave it open. This tiny, tiny sprinkle of false reality is often enough to rehook your hope meter back up to 100%, erasing weeks of pain. They are constantly testing the limits of how long they can string you along before you demand tangible, undeniable proof of commitment. Since the supply they are receiving from you right now is excellent, your attention, your unwavering commitment, your emotional energy, they have absolutely no incentive whatsoever to actually follow through on anything major. Why ruin the sweet present control for an actual future commitment that requires effort? So, how do you know, right now, if you are currently being future faked. The number one clearest red flag is the massive, undeniable, and repeating disconnect between their spoken words and their observable, real-world actions. If they promise a massive, life-changing business partnership next year, but can't even consistently clean up their own messes or show up on time today, there is a fundamental and deep-seated problem in consistency. Their future promises are typically very theatrical, overflowing with emotion, but they lack any measurable operational details. If you try to hold them to it and ask, "That's amazing about moving to Italy. Which region are you thinking? Have you looked at visa or school requirements?" They will quickly shut down the conversation or instantly become defensive and dismissive, characterizing your crucial questions as annoying nagging. Pay very close attention to repetition in their storytelling. Are the exact same grand promises being recycled month after month, or even year after year, with absolutely zero tangible, incremental progress being made? If the answer to the important question, when, is always just soon, or when we get past this one mysterious hurdle, you are likely standing completely still while operating under the intense, exhausting delusion that you are running quickly forward. Another major indicator that you should look out for is the way they violently react when you try to take an initiative to move the plan forward. If you excitedly put down a non-refundable deposit on the vacation they promised, or seriously schedule a consultation, they will often become inexplicably angry, withdrawn, or start a huge, unnecessary fight. Your concrete action fundamentally threatens their abstract control and manipulation. Remember this key distinction. A healthy, genuine partner makes future plans based firmly on current stability, mutual effort, and shared resources. A manipulative narcissist makes future plans based entirely and solely on your current willingness to tolerate their extreme instability and their singular, desperate need for your undivided attention. It's a transaction built entirely on worthless, empty currency. The emotional whiplash and devastation this causes is profound and difficult to recover from. When you finally grasp the painful reality that the dream you were working toward, the one thing that kept you going through the hard times, was never, ever real, the resulting crash is intense. It feels exactly like grief, but it is grief for an entire, beautiful life that was meticulously promised but never existed. Many survivors describe feeling profoundly confused and sometimes even internalizing the blame, believing that they are the ones who somehow failed the plan. The narcissist is excellent at gaslighting you into internalizing the painful thought, "Well, if you had just been more unconditionally supportive, then we could have certainly bought that beautiful house by now." They shift the entire responsibility. This sense of false hope is the sticky glue that keeps the trauma bond painfully strong. Every time you feel ready to decisively leave, a small, insidious voice whispers, "But what if this time they really, really mean it? What if the perfect, stable future is just one more agonizing month away?" That constant injection of false hope is literally poisoning your progress and your capacity to heal. Future faking is a direct, calculated assault on your objective perception of reality. You start intensely questioning your own judgment and memory. Were the promises spoken loudly? Were they delivered passionately? Yes, absolutely. So why didn't they happen? The answer is simple, clean, and painful. Their stated intention was never genuinely aligned with the capacity or the desire for real-world delivery. Think about the sheer, exhausting emotional energy you invested in preparing for that fictional future. The hours spent browsing specific locations, naming imaginary children, or planning retirement portfolios that were never funded. That heavy emotional investment is exactly what the narcissist was consciously feeding on. Every ounce of your hope and dedication was nothing but fuel, nothing but supply. We need to talk honestly about why we, as often highly empathetic, loyal, and loving people, are so tragically susceptible to this specific tactic. It's because the narcissist doesn't future fake about mediocre or dull things. They strategically tap into your deepest, most sacred, and guarded desires. They expertly identify your emotional Achilles heel of hope, and then exploit it relentlessly. If you desperately want commitment and stability, they will talk about marriage, fidelity, and children with an intensity that seems unbelievably genuine. If you are financially anxious, they will promise joint wealth, security, and stability, waving away all your fears. They tailor the fiction perfectly, making it an exact mirror image of your specific vulnerability. Furthermore, future faking masterfully operates on the principle of delayed gratification, but deliberately twisted and weaponized. We are generally taught in life that working hard now leads to great rewards later. The narcissist exploits this societal programming by making tolerance and enduring pain the only currency required for the promised reward. They appear to be so genuinely, passionately dedicated to the shared fictional goal that you tragically mistake their extreme performative enthusiasm for genuine character, consistency, and moral integrity. You think, someone who plans that meticulously and seems that excited must be a fundamentally good, honest person. This fundamental miscalculation is the core of the deception. Remember that for the narcissist, the mere, easy act of verbally articulating the promise gives them the immediate, delicious benefit of your adoration and focus, while the follow-through requires difficult effort, time, and dedication, which they are utterly unwilling to give. Their words are completely cheap, but your deep, unwavering belief in them is priceless and consumable supply. So, how do you successfully shield yourself from this moving forward and protect your heart? The most crucial step is immediately resetting your expectations from relying on flowery words to relying strictly on demonstrable, measurable actions. Stop listening to the dramatic, convincing soundtrack and start objectively watching the actual movie of their life. If a big, beautiful, life-changing promise is made, immediately ask yourself this crucial question. What is the immediate, measurable, and necessary first step to achieve that stated goal? If they cannot articulate that first step, or if they resist taking it with effort, the promise is just smoke and mirrors, designed purely to placate you for the moment and prevent your departure. You must implement firm, non-negotiable boundaries where all future discussions are concerned. If they randomly bring up a spectacular 5-year plan, immediately redirect the conversation back to the next 5 days. Demand proof of concept and consistency in the here and now. If they can't competently handle the reality of the present, they certainly cannot be trusted with the complex reality of the future. Real, sustainable love and partnership are built on daily consistency, not elaborate performance art meant to distract. It's built on small, sustained efforts every single day, showing up, being honest, not on one massive, perpetually unattainable promise hanging forever in the air. If someone's entire relationship pitch revolves around a hypothetical, distant future, it's a huge, flashing warning sign that they are trying desperately to distract you from the painful reality of the present moment. Recognizing future faking for the dangerous manipulation tactic that it is the essential first step toward reclaiming your valuable time, your precious energy, and your hard-won sanity. You fundamentally deserve a real future built on real, demonstrated actions, not just empty, recycled words. If this video resonated with you or helped you understand this crucial tactic, please hit the like button to help others find this crucial information. Comment below and share your difficult experiences. It helps the whole community. And definitely don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into difficult manipulation tactics. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.